think this is where we ended.
Yes.
So that's the next one.
1 second.
Now it's like maybe we should move it to the next page, so it would be easier to look on the whole thing. How the hell? It's okay. Can you see it?
Here. There we go.
Read aloud.
Uh-huh. So you have 2 verses left for tomorrow.
What?
You have 2 verses left for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, so first the version with all of the, what did you call them? This has all the...
This is Ludwig's and mine.
Uh-huh.
This is corrected to have better rhythm.
Better
Right.
rhythm. And this has all of the meaning. So, let's see.
There was some places the meaning I improved.
Yes. Good. Okay, let's get the first one. Warsaw sleeps. Suddenly, the silence is broken. The rumble of engines approaching, then quiet. They've stopped outside. This is bad. The building is noiseless. Its residents at the windows, waiting. The light of their cigarettes like fireflies glowing. The only communication seeming to say, I'm awake. I'm alert. I'm afraid. Yet I'm not alone. But hush, Warsaw sleeps.
This is on the left.
Yeah. Huh. This is very different than I remember it. Okay. Warsaw sleeps. Silence is suddenly pierced by a roar. That's engines approaching. Are closer, now quiet. They've stopped at the building's door. That's bad. The building is noises?
Noiseless.
Noiseless. Noiseless. The building is noiseless, but is all alert. The cigarette lights light fireflies. In the windows glow as our only communication. I'm awake. I'm alert. I'm afraid, yet I'm not alone. But hush, Warsaw sleeps. Huh. Okay. The first thing I noticed that I like more about yours is this part about the light, the cigarette lights. In this version, I thought it was the light of the German cigarettes.
No.
Yeah, so you did a good job making this clearer here.
Yeah.
So, lights.
Which makes you thinking it's a German cigarette.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes it seem like it's 2 different things. The light of the cigarettes is the German, and the only communication is I don't know. It makes it seem
Because only communication are
cigarette lights.
just cigarette lights.
Right.
Is that makes
It's
that
better.
clear?
Better. Yes. The cigarette lights. I think you can remove as glow. So the cigarette lights, like fireflies in the windows, glow. Our only communication is better without the as.
Mm-hmm.
So I noticed I'm awake, I'm alert, I'm afraid. This is in quotations, but I'm not alone is not. That's interesting. I like that.
He said not alone because of the slides, because of this.
Yes, I know, but that's not connected to this. You see, the first three, they are in the quotation mark.
Shouldn't be, yes?
No, I'm not sure. I think I like the fact that the last one is not. It's like these are the communications, but this is the person realizing, and maybe they are not communicating. When it's not in the quotation, it doesn't feel like the communication, it feels like the realization.
So
you see? So it's up to depending on what you prefer. I think it's interesting. These are the three things they are saying to each other, but only some of the people, including this person, are realizing that they are not alone because of this.
That's
Only
right.
some of them are
That's
thinking
right.
about that. So I think it's fine to leave it like that. It's good. It might confuse some people, but I don't think those. I don't think that matters.
How would you do it?
I wouldn't. It doesn't confuse me. It makes it more interesting to me.
Okay. Grammatical is okay.
It's good. This part is good. Silence. Instead of silence is suddenly pierced by a roar, which is quite long, it would be better the silence pierced by a roar.
By a row.
By roar. By a roar. So remove the suddenly.
Without the is, yes?
No, the silence pierced by a roar.
Okay.
Yeah. So the
suddenly the silence.
Without suddenly.
Without silence.
That's what I'm removing. The suddenly.
Read it for me.
Yes. Warsaw sleeps. Silence is suddenly pierced by a roar.
And you would make it?
Warsaw sleeps. Silence is pierced by a roar.
Okay.
Oh no, silence pierced by a roar. Without suddenly and without is.
Without is.
And then I would. Oh, sorry. I read my version wrong to you. I would say Warsaw sleeps. The silence pierced by a roar.
Yes.
Pierced by a roar. I like this better. That's engines approaching is better than the rumble of engines approaching. Just need a comma. Approaching. I would remove R and just say closer. That's engines approaching. Closer, now quiet. And that does the rhythm well too.
Okay. You have to you feel it.
Yeah.
Approaching, closer,
Now
stop.
quiet, yeah. I think we should remove they stopped.
Stopped, yes.
They stopped. We remove this, and instead they stopped.
No, hall.
Yes, I'll tell you why. When you remove it, and then it just becomes this. That's engines approaching, closer, now quiet, at the building's door. That's bad. And it feels a lot like it's happening faster than you were expecting. Suddenly they're here. The more words you have from the beginning to end, the longer the event feels. That's one reason. The other reason is it feels less descriptive, like the reportage or the reporting, and it feels more like the experience.
So read it without.
Yes. That's engines approaching, closer, now quiet. At the building's door. That's bad. The building is noiseless, but is all alert. And so on.
No problem. Okay.
Good. We don't want to delete the whole thing. At the building's door. Instead of the building is noiseless but is all alert, it should be the building is noiseless and all alert.
Again.
The building is noiseless but is all alert. That's your version. The building is noiseless and all alert.
Okay. Instead of bad end.
And it's more interesting. And it's a little shorter. Instead of light fireflies, are fireflies. What do you are fireflies?
Okay.
Maybe. Wait, let me
read it both ways. Us? Or like?
The cigarette lights like fireflies in the windows glow. The cigarette lights are fireflies in the windows glow. Glow. Or remove it completely. What? Just have the cigarette lights, fireflies in the windows glow. Our only communication.
I don't think so. I think we should be either us or like. It's more descriptive, I would say.
I think in a poem like this, you don't want to be more descriptive. You want to be more emotive. In a poem especially. And when you have the cigarette lights, fireflies in the windows, people will, when you read it, you will understand that the lights are the fireflies. You will not think, oh, there are fireflies and there are the cigarette lights. But the cigarette lights like fireflies feels more like a story, or like yeah, like a story than a poem. It's less beautiful.
I feel it. I don't know.
Let me read it.
Why don't you make it as a suggestion?
Yes. The cigarette lights, fireflies in the windows glow. The cigarette's lights like fireflies in the windows glow around me. Yeah, I understand. I think they both could have some appeal. You feel the feeling more with the light, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Move.
Because those are not fireflies, but they look like fire.
But we will understand that. You don't need to tell me this. And if you don't tell me, maybe for the smallest, sometimes with a reader it's rewarding for the smallest moment. There are cigarettes and fire. Oh no, the cigarettes are the fireflies. And that now when I had to do a little effort, it means I am more in the story. This is my experience with the stories anyways.
Well, but
it's a suggestion now. Good. Our only communication, I'm awake. I would remove the middle alert, the middle I am. So I would, right now it's I'm awake, I'm alert, I'm afraid. I would say I'm awake, alert, I'm afraid.
Okay.
They can both work. Yeah.
What is the better room?
Yeah, let me read around it. Warsaw sleeps. The silence pierced by a roar. That's engines approaching, closer, now quiet, at the building's door. That's bad. The building is noiseless and all alert. The cigarette lights like fireflies and the windows glow. Our only communication, I'm awake, alert, I'm afraid, yet I'm not alone. But hush, Warsaw sleeps. Our only communication, I'm awake, I'm alert, I'm afraid, yet I'm not alone. But hush, Warsaw sleeps. I like both flows, so I would only leave it as a suggestion. They're different rhythms. I'm awake, alert, I'm afraid. No, I think we should leave it. I think when you say it's very repetitive, and maybe that was my problem, but I think it's good because that's what you do when you're afraid. You repeat things, you say things similar ways, you emphasize things, so it gives the feeling a little better. Yeah. And maybe one of your boys will mind this, but I like the fact that these three, they're I'm awake, I'm alert, I'm afraid. And the last one is I am not alone. I like that it's different. And that's it. That's all the comments I have.
Okay, the next one.
Next one. I will read the descriptive version first. Warsaw sleeps till startled awake by the pounding of boots, rifle butts slamming a gate. Harsh words barked, while some hide in a desperate state. Within each dwelling, the pad of running feet. Upstairs, a door is heard closing, someone heading for the attic. A voice reciting, I will fear no evil. Ears to the door, trembling, are they after me? Us? Them? What for? Who's next? When? For whom the comments emit?
Not when, but then.
No. Are they after me? Us? Them?
Yes.
Yeah. What for? Who's next? When?
Here is when.
There is them and there is when.
I'm
First,
putting then. And then.
Oh, well, this is...
Because when they are already coming to the building, so we know now. But if that's...
Oh, and then is later. I've not gotten to
I see.
Yet. Let me.
I see. Yeah, yeah, okay.
Ears to the door, trembling. Are they after me? Us? Them? What for? Who's next? When? For whom the commency mit? And then?
Okay.
But hush, Warsaw sleeps. This is the first version.
Yeah.
Warsaw sleeps. The harsh words are suddenly barking, the pounding of boots, and rifle butts slamming the gates. Ah, I like this flow. We are in panic, destroying. You're destroying?
In panic, we are destroying whatever can be destroyed,
The documents.
Which would be compromising.
Ah, interesting. I like this.
Yeah, everybody in panic, destroying and
documents,
splashing the water.
Yes.
With documents and so on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's scary. Destroying and hiding. This line is so much better than this line. Within each dwelling, the pad of feet running, the sound of flushing toilets, the door upstairs has squeaked. A young man run hiding in the attic. A voice reciting, I will fear no evil. With ears to the door, we are all trembling. Who are they after? Us? Or them? Who will be hearing Commency mit? And then? But hush, Warsaw sleeps. Oh, that's interesting. Interesting, yeah. Okay.
I think well, I don't know how whether it should be improved as rhythms or so, but I think it portrays the situation.
Yes, much better. Much better. I could feel I could feel it much more intensely. One thing that was interesting about the flow at the beginning of the first version was the rhyme with gate and awake. It was the good timing for the rhyme. It was Warsaw in the first version, yes. It was Warsaw sleeps till startled awake by the pounding of boots, rifle butts slamming a gate. You can feel the connection there. It's nice.
And I put it.
You don't have a wait here, so it cannot be done unless we add a wait.
Well, if that sounds better, replace it.
Well, we need to find a way to do it in this version. So, harsh. So I changed it like this.
How?
Warsaw sleeps. Startled awake, harsh words suddenly barking, the pounding of boots and rifle butts slamming the gate.
Gate slamming wouldn't be a rhyme written better if we say gate slamming?
No,
Slamming the gate, yes.
much worse. Yeah, slamming the gate will rhyme much better. Rifle butts. I don't like the word slamming here. I feel like there could be a better word. So they're breaking the gate open? They're knocking?
With the
With the
rifle
rifle
butts.
butts, yeah.
Kicking a rifle butt slamming.
Yeah.
Banging.
Banging.
Is it better?
Maybe. Even kicking.
Kicking by boots.
Yes, but kicking with the rifle butt. It's a nice image. I don't know. I think it's kicking or banging. Or either is better. What else? Striking. Striking. Ramming. Okay, we have some options. I think banging does not work because banging is like, it's more like we won't know that it's to break it.
Ramming.
Ramming works. Striking works. And kicking works.
I would say ramming probably.
Ramming?
Rifle butts ramming.
Okay. That works. That's better. For flushing toilets, I think we should remove the sound of flushing toilets and just say flushing toilets. I will read it.
Without sound?
Yeah, without sound.
Read it.
We are in panic, destroying and hiding within each dwelling, the pad of feet running, the sound of flushing toilets, the door upstairs has squeaked. We are in panic, destroying and hiding, within each dwelling the pad of feet running, flushing toilets, the door upstairs has squeaked. Maybe. I'm not sure. What is interesting, I'm just realizing this now after. What's interesting if we do that is we have the word running next to flushing now. And you know, you can say the running toilet and the flushing toilet. And so it's this might be a bonus. The pad of feet running, flushing toilets. It's like we are running the flushing toilets, but the feet are running. So it's just interesting. I don't know if it will be important to people, but it makes it more interesting. But I
think instead of sounds of flushing toilets, just flushing toilet.
I think so, yeah. The one, let me make sure the rhythm is okay. Yeah. We are in panic, destroying and hiding within each dwelling, the pad of feet running, flushing toilets. The door upstairs has squeaked. And now this needs to be fixed. Young man. The door upstairs squeaks. I think this version was better for this line. Upstairs, a door is heard closing. I think is better than the door upstairs squeaks.
The door, well, how does it read?
Yeah.
The doors upstairs is closing, yes? Or closing.
Yeah. So the first version, within each dwelling, the pad of feet running. Upstairs, a door is heard closing. And this one, within each dwelling, the pad of feet running. Flushing toilets, the door upstairs squeaks. It'd be better. But the one I'm suggesting, can't talk. The one I'm suggesting is, within each dwelling, the pad of feet running, flushing toilets, the door upstairs closing. And then we can talk about the young man.
Without R closing,
without R, yes.
Yes. Oh well, I think that's probably.
Yeah. Closing. Yeah, I didn't even realize that.
And the next is
because the door upstairs is the attic.
Yes.
That's the attic, right?
The attic.
Yeah. A young man.
The young man.
This.
The young man is running to the attic.
Yeah.
Hiding. Is there?
Yes, we put hiding at the end. You're right there. Before it was a young man run hiding in the attic. Too many verbs together. It will be better. A young man.
But we already once used hiding at the beginning.
We are panicked, destroying it. It's okay for a poem. Especially here, it's far enough away.
Okay.
Destroying and hiding. Destroying. Because when you're destroying and hiding, are you hiding yourself or are you hiding the documents?
Well, both.
Both, right. So I think
the young man is hiding.
Yes.
But we are hiding the documents.
It's different hiding, so it's even more okay. And here the flow will be helped a lot, tremendously, if we put hiding at the end. So here, this is the new version. The door upstairs closing. A young man running to the attic, hiding. A voice reciting, I will fear no evil. So now hiding is closer to reciting, which makes it better. A young man run to a young man run to the attic.
I had it before without a young man running to the attic. Yeah.
And you had hiding. You had a young man running and hiding to the attic or something. So now
Or it could be the young man to the attic running.
this is better. Here, let me read you. We are in panic, destroying and hiding within each dwelling the pad of feet running, flushing toilets. The door upstairs closing, a young man run to the attic, hiding, a voice reciting, I will fear no evil. With ears to the door we are all trembling. Who are they after? Us or them?
Okay.
So now let's see this last part. Here I prefer the version 1. The first reason is that it rhymes better and the rhythm is...
How is that?
With ears to the door. Ears to the door trembling. Well, it also... So we can your line here is good. With ears to the door, we are all trembling. This is a good line. But after that, this would be better. Listen. Are they after me? Us? Them? What for? Who's next? When? For whom the comments emit? This I'm not sure yet.
But that when, do I have it when here?
Here, no.
No, that's the reason I left when, because
Because it's now.
it is now.
Yes. I understand. Well, even if we don't keep the when, the everything that is before the when is better there. So are they after me, us, them? What for? Who's next? That whole part is better, I think, here. I think that is better than who are they after, us or them? I think,
Again, who is after us or them, and it was before.
Are they after me, us, them?
I see.
What for? Who's next? There's more questions. Even if I don't know if these questions are that realistic, because probably if they are after me, they are after us.
Well, in the original verse, it is us next door, or vis-a-vis, or on the other side. They are doors. One door to us, next door,
Yeah.
or vis-a-vis. Which door they are coming?
Us, next door, or vis-a-vis. That's interesting.
So
are they after us, next door, vis-a-vis? What for? Who's next? That would be better. Let me try it.
how would you say in English vis-a-vis?
Vis-a-vis.
Also?
Yes.
Oh, well, that probably should be used.
Yeah. And it would be more interesting. Well, you can say vis-a-vis in English. I don't know if you would say it in this context, but I think we probably should. Usually you would say across, across, the people across. Are they after us? Next door, across? But I don't like how that sounds. So I think I would lean towards saying, are they after us? Next door, vis-a-vis? I think people will. I think
is what is the
yes, the
better?
rhythm. The rhythm is I think made a bit better, or at least it's a good rhythm. Okay, let me read the whole thing to you. Warsaw sleeps. Startled awake, harsh words suddenly barking, the pounding of boots and rifle butts ramming the gate. We are in panic, destroying and hiding within each dwelling, the pad of feet running, flushing toilets, the door upstairs closing, a young man run to the attic, hiding, a voice reciting, I will fear no evil. With ears to the door, we are all trembling. Who are they after? Us? Next door? Vis-a-vis? Who will be hearing Kommen Sie mit? And then? But hush. Warsaw sleeps.
Could it be them or we?
Huh?
Them or we? That would that would.
This rhymes. This is what are you saying? This rhymes. Look, it depends where you pause, and we don't want it to rhyme. Well, it would be interesting, but them or we, no, we are not the priests, or we are not the preachers. We cannot say and or we. Kommen Sie mit.
Who has to answer? Them or we?
Them or us. Them or we. It's too. No. Even if you could say it.
Who has to open? Them or we?
You can say it. Oh, who has to open? I like that better than who are they after. Who are they after is such a typical. Who has to open? Much better question.
Who has to open? Them or we?
But I'm afraid that the last part, even if we can say it, I think we could say it. Grammatically, if we wanted to be very poetic, we could say it. But for the fear of this state, I don't think someone who is about to get their door knocked down is going to think them or we. So I think it's more, it takes away from the fear. It takes away from that, and it makes it more elevated and dramatic if you say them or we. I think who has to open. That's this we need to keep, because that's a much better question. Much better. Huh. Why didn't I notice that before?
Well,
Who are they after? What a boring question. Who has to open?
Well, it would rhyme with the vis-a-vis.
Which would? Them
Who
or
has
we?
to open?
Them or we? I know it.
Them or
would.
we?
Them or we? Vis-a-vis. It's too cute. If I'm saying them or we vis-a-vis, I'm thinking, oh, we are going to have a party. All of us are going to be invited. I'm not thinking any of this. Let me read you the whole thing again. Warsaw sleeps, startled awake. Harsh words suddenly barking, the pounding of boots, and rifle butts ramming the gate. We are in panic, destroying and hiding. Within each dwelling, the pad of feet running, flushing toilets. The door upstairs closing. A young man, run to the attic, hiding. A voice reciting, I will fear no evil. With eyes to the door, we are all trembling. Who has to open? Us? Next door? Vis-a-vis? Who will be hearing? Commency mit. And then? But hush, Warsaw sleeps. I think it's...
Who has to open? Who has the words? Commency mit. There, they, or we? Well,
okay, you win. And if we're going to...
Them or we?
You win. Don't tell me anymore. I'll just put it. But if we're going to go that far, we should say they or we.
Yeah, okay. They or we?
And if we're going to put it somewhere, we should put it after commency mit. You are right. Not us next door vis-a-vis. These are different questions. And now it works. Now I can sleep with it.
Okay, read it again.
Warsaw sleeps. Startled awake, harsh words suddenly barking, the pounding of boots, and rifle butts ramming the gate. We are in panic, destroying and hiding within each dwelling, the padding of feet running. Flushing toilets, the door upstairs closing. A young man run to the attic, hiding. A voice reciting, I will fear no evil. With ears to the door, we are all trembling. Who has to open? Us? Next door, vis-a-vis? Who will be hearing? Commency mit. They or we? Then, I think it's good.
Yeah,
I think it's good.
I think that's right.
Do we want to say the pad of feet running or the padding of feet running?
Which gets a better...
They both have good rhythm. The padding of feet running has one more word that has ing. So there's destroying, hiding, padding, running, flushing. This is good for the poem. Not good for the something else, but good for the poem. I don't know if it's an improvement though. It's just this time when I read it, I naturally said padding. I made a mistake and I said padding, and it sounded kind of good. We are in panic, destroying and hiding. Within each dwelling, the pad of feet running. We are in panic, destroying and hiding. Within each dwelling, the padding of feet running, flushing toilets. The door upstairs closing. I think we should have padding. But I think...
Instead of pad, yes?
Yes, but I think It's another one of these annoying ones where, depending on whether you're reading out loud or in your head, one sounds better than the other. Padding sounds better, and pads it reads better. But these are to be read, not to be read in your head. So I will put it in the parentheses.
Okay.
For now. Or I will put it as a comment just so it's consistent. Review. Comment. Padding. Okay. That's it.
Okay. Okay, very good. There's another thing.
Let's see it.
Beginning of the book, that prologue,
Oh, yeah.
and your father feels that there should be that prefix, which is.
You were going to show me he added something.
Yes,
you didn't want to tell me.
This is a part of what I wrote about the you going with me to the you, my grandchildren, going to the
he wants that in the prefix?
let's see. I said I shouldn't be saying anything.
Yes.
I should have you read.
Yeah, it depends.
Decide that comment to me.
I can already imagine many ways it would fit poorly, but it's possible it could fit well. I'm open to it.
I first said no.
Yeah.
But now I'm.
Definitely not the whole.
Should I say?
Oh yes, you should save. Don't. Let's not lose all of these changes, please.
Okay.
Delete.
We could close that. And then in here, I just copied the first few pages. How that will look like. Let's. You prefer that, or you, or one may have that. Anyhow.
I prefer what?
One, yes, one page.
Oh, it's okay either way. Sure, one page.
One page?
Yeah.
Can't see. Now view, where is view?
View is there. Yeah.
View, where is one page? One page, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
So this how it will start and go on. I like this Winston Churchill quote here. But read aloud.
Read everything out loud from here to there. Okay. Freedom, they cried. A memoir of the occupation of the Warsaw Uprising. Stefan Tadeusz Meissner. Translated from Polish by Julek J. Meissner. The heroic defense of Warsaw shows that the soul of Poland is indestructible and that she will rise again, like a rock which may for a spell be submerged by a tidal wave, but which remains a rock. Yeah, that's nice. Especially the end. Copyright. You want me to read copyright?
No, don't read that.
Contents.
The contents, you don't have to read that.
Forward.
This is what?
Bartoszewski.
That is the
professor.
Professor Bartoszewski.
Is Zen's, or what's her name? Zbyszek's ex-girlfriend. Her husband. That's who?
No.
I'm wrong.
Bartoszewski. He was the colleague of my oldest brother. He was in the same class. And then after the war, or in the Free Poland,
Yeah.
He was twice the Minister of Foreign Affairs. He was first ambassador in Austria, then Minister of Foreign Affairs. He was a historian, very very well known professor of history. He was teaching in Germany and so on. He was during the war. He worked in the underground. He was in the section which was helping Jews in ghetto and so on. So that's a
Wow.
very well known
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
So he wrote he was the actually encouraged me to publish the book, because I wrote the memoir for you, for my children, grandchildren, and so on. And I showed him, and he said, "Well, you should publish it. It's interesting. It's well written. And I'll write the introduction." So this is the introduction.
Wow. Shall I read it?
If you want.
While I have known about these memoirs for a few years now, fate has united me personally with the Meissner family for some 75 years. As from 1937 until the outbreak of war in 1939, I was a friend and schoolmate of the author's older brother, Janek Meissner, in Warsaw, where we both attended the high school Przyszłość.
Przyszłość, yes.
Przyszłość.
That's a future.
Przyszłość.
Is a future.
Wolność, but different, I'm sure. Just the same sounds. My friend Janek did not survive the Second World War, as he was murdered by the Gestapo in 1943, but some of his family did survive, among them Stefan Tadeusz Meissner. After years of silence on the matter, the author offers a fascinating, dynamic, and interestingly written testimony of the experiences not only of his family but before and during the war, but also of the everyday trials and tribulations experienced by Poles living in Warsaw during the years of occupation and then the uprising. These are memoirs written by an elderly gentleman who remembers what it was like as a juvenile, witnessing and participating in those times. This soldier of the Polish underground and of the Warsaw Uprising, prisoner of war in a German stalag, member of General Anders' Second Corps, and finally political emigre, turned out to be endowed with an excellent gift of orientation, observation, and memory. As a historical writer, knowledgeable on the subject of World War II Poland and its occupation, I am particularly sensitive to the usefulness of the testimony of people who survived that time, and also to their credibility, the value they add to the consciousness for the generations that follow. Comparing the memoirs of Stefan Tadeusz Meissner with many other memoirs published since the birth of the Third Polish Republic, I am convinced that his work is one of the best and most interesting I have encountered. Today in Poland there is an ever louder, though not always sensible, discussion on the history of politics. Whether history is the master of life or not has for several generations preoccupied the minds of some historians, gangsters, and even some politicians. In my personal opinion, the deepening of knowledge about the historical facts of our past, or those of our ancestors, has and will continue to be vital in shaping the consciousness of current and future generations. The more credible these testimonies are, the better for us all. I strongly recommend reading these memoirs of Stefan Tadeusz Meissner.
Okay, now that will be in that book. This is what will be this is translated by your father.
Of course.
Now here is the next introduction to the English edition.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, this Professor Ricci is the daughter-in-law of Władysław Bartoszewski. She
That's
married
funny.
his son.
That's funny. The Second World War was the most devastating conflict in human history, resulting in the deaths of millions of human beings. The war as it was experienced in Central and Eastern Europe was particularly horrible and engulfed everyone in its path. One of those people was the young Stefan Meissner, who as a teenager took up arms in Warsaw in defense of his city. This is his memoir, and it is a valuable contribution to the literature of the time. Stefan Tadeusz Meissner was born in 1926 in the aftermath of World War I. As a result of that conflict, the three empires which had divided Poland between them for 123 years crumbled, allowing for the recreation of the Polish state in 1918. The generation which came of age in the aftermath of this momentous event celebrated their independence and their newfound freedom. Later known as the Columbus generation, they were fiercely loyal to their country. Don't kill it. Don't kill it. Here, we will put it outside.
Okay.
I'll be back. It's just tired. It wants to be outside.
Alex Ritchie, this Professor Alex Ritchie, she's Canadian.
As I was putting the ant outside, there was a period that was in the darkness, and I couldn't see, was it still on me? Did it fall off? How fast had it gone? And I kept feeling the ant here, the ant here, the ant here.
Well, I can. You should get into the ant's
Nest?
nest.
No thanks.
I want you to read that as a potential reader of the book. Whether you see that in the story book with that
You mean the foreword?
everything.
Everything.
You
So-
open the book and you start.
I can tell you some comments right away before I forget. Comment on the first one, Bartoszewski. There were a few things I thought was too much.
Well, don't correct Bartoszewski.
But you're telling me as a potential reader, you know.
Well, I'm. You're talking about the translation, yes?
Sure.
Well,
I don't know.
I right now I want to whether there are a couple of correction, grammar, and so on.
Not grammar, just there's I'll just tell you. Up to you what to do with this, but good. Oh, it's at the beginning.
Well, I think
it's
that,
very
that is not.
It's
I want
very
you,
small.
I want you to keep on going
It's
because
very
I want
small.
you to get
Yeah, of
your
course,
view
of course.
on the whole thing.
They're small things, and probably I don't think they are grammar, but I think they have to do maybe with my dad's way of writing.
Hmm.
So,
Now this is she wrote it in English.
mhm.
Uh, where are you?
Why were you known as the Columbus generation?
That is, they called it. They called those who were
The first to be free?
yes, who were born in the Free Poland.
Why? Why
Fir-
Columbus?
First born in Free Poland, they were called Columbus generation. There was a book written.
Is it after Christopher Columbus? Is it some other Columbus?
Well, I think it was probably from. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. I'd be curious.
That says how this generation is called. And there was a good film even made by called Columbus of uh, Columbus year 21, something like that.
Yeah, I'd be curious to. There should be a quick note on why you were called this, and I think these notes are really long, for about the author. If people want to know more about the author, there should be a short thing about maybe the first sentence, and then some of her books, and that's it. But that's a comment for my dad, I guess. Um, let's see, where are we? Stefan Meissner's memoirs mirror that world. He had an idyllic childhood, spending time in a safe and secure family home near Warsaw, unaware of the storm clouds gathering over Europe. Few Poles realized to what extent the Germans were preparing for war, so that the invasion of Poland on 1st of September 1939 came as a terrible shock. Suddenly bombs were falling on their houses and streets, windows were blacked out, car headlights were painted blue, and the population sheltered in basements and cellars as their city collapsed around them. Then came capitulation, the arrival of German soldiers, Hitler's victory parade, and the rapid and deliberate destruction of the Polish state. The experience of this sudden invasion was shocking in its violence and cruelty, and Meissner had to adapt quickly. There's many spacing mistakes, but I'm sure it is fine. He describes the roundups, mass executions, and the terror on the streets of the city. He also witnessed the persecution of the Jewish people of Warsaw, who were forced to wear the Star of David and ordered to move into the ghetto. Meissner describes the death and horror there, which he witnessed firsthand. I don't like you described as Meissner. I prefer Stefan.
Well,
as a reader,
okay,
not just as your family. One of the strengths of Freedom They Cried is that Meissner does not shy away from the subject of the reaction of Polish society to the plight of the Jews. He talks about those who risked their lives to help, but is also scathing about those Poles who felt that the Germans were solving the Jewish problem, or who blackmailed the Jews for their own gain. He is not afraid to talk plainly about the general sense of indifference many Poles showed despite the Jewish tragedy unfolding before them. This sense of balance also informs his account of the Warsaw Uprising of 1944. At the time, he says, he saw it as a necessity, a fight for freedom and an independent homeland. In retrospect, he considers it a tragic event in the history of the Polish nation, which resulted in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people and the near total destruction of one of Europe's great capital cities. Even so, Meissner is rightly proud of having done his duty by fighting in the uprising, and sees the spirit of the times reflected in the solidarity movement which helped liberate Poland from communism. Meissner miraculously survived the uprising and made it to the American lines and to freedom. However, hopes of returning to a liberated Poland were dashed as Stalin and the Soviet Union imposed another totalitarian regime on the country. He eventually built a new life for himself and his family, far from his beloved Poland. But the memories of his childhood and his love for Poland are evident on every page. This is a fascinating memoir which gives the reader not only a glimpse of the realities of interwar Poland, but which also describes the horrors and the sheer violence of the Second World War in Poland. It is balanced and well-paced, and the warmth and humor of the author shines through. It is a very welcome addition to the literature of the period. Preface by the author.
But I want you to read that, because that is the question. My question, whether we should include that or not.
This is your captain speaking. We are beginning our descent towards Warsaw. The weather in Poland's capital calls for. I'm flying back to Warsaw, the city of my childhood, where I'm to take part in the 75th anniversary of the uprising, accompanied by 4 of my grandchildren, Sebastian, Sienna, Gabriel, and Isabel. They all want to participate, to share in the celebration with their grandfather. As I listen to the captain's words, a little trick of the mind takes me aback, and I'm momentarily transported to another time when Hitler ordered in the outset of the uprising of August 1944 that Poland's capital be annihilated, to disappear forever from the maps of the world. Hitler's henchmen did their best to carry out their master's orders. I was told once by an airman who volunteered to fly a transport of weapons to aid the besieged citizens during the uprising, that the glow of the burning city could be seen for hundreds of kilometers, all the way to Krakow. From 300 kilometers onward, we didn't need to use our navigation instruments. The glow was so powerful. However, like the proverbial phoenix, Warsaw rose from its ashes after the war to become one of the most beautiful cities of Europe. Now in 2019, I'm offering to be my grandchildren's guide, to share with them my living memories as we go visiting. In 1944, I was 18, the same age as Gabriel and Sienna are today. My hope is that at the W hour, 5 p.m. on August 1st, when the sirens begin to wail, and the entire population of Warsaw, over 1 million citizens, comes to a standstill in memory of the start of the uprising, my grandchildren will be able to imagine themselves with me on the barricades. Later on, when we visit Buczynek, the estate where I was born and grew up, which still stands on the outskirts of Warsaw, I plan to have my 13-year-old granddaughter, Isabella, stand on the front lawn, close her eyes, and imagine seeing what I saw when I was 13. An airplane shot down, the trail of smoke as it fell, one of the first air battles of the Second World War. Another place I intend to take them is to the apartment block in downtown Warsaw where I lived during the occupation. Somewhere below the building and below the avenue alongside it lies a buried treasure. including the bayonet I received as a gift from the kid's grandmother, Olenka, with whom I was married for over 65 years. 65 years. She was 18 years old then, a nurse in the Polish resistance movement. I want my grandchildren, particularly Sienna and Gabriel, who are 18, to imagine being in a crowded streetcar with their grandma as she turns to them and whispered, "I've just pinched a bayonet from that German officer. Let's run for it before he catches on. I hope you know how to jump off on the run when the tram is still moving." There's also the neighborhood where the grandchildren's uncle and aunt live today. When my cousin Mariska lived there at 18, a visitor came knocking on her door, an acquaintance who was looking for help. The girl's home had been raided by the Gestapo, her family arrested. It turned out they were Jewish. The girl didn't know who to turn to and took a chance, asking Mariska for help. It was a matter of life and death, and my cousin took her in without hesitation. I would like my grandkids to ask themselves what they would have done had it been them. Could they be that brave and righteous, knowing that if they sheltered this girl and were caught, not only would they be executed, but so would their entire family? I'll take them to the Paviak Museum, which, during the war, was the Gestapo headquarters. It was the most hated...
That's a big mistake. It is not a Paviak, but Shrucha.
Shrucha. S
Z U C H A.
CH?
Yes.
Shrucha.
Shrucha, and it is not a museum, but a mausoleum of. We went there.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a mausoleum?
Yes.
There is somebody preserved there?
There are ashes of thousands of people there.
Yeah.
But this could be corrected. But
yeah, I'll keep going. It was the most hated and dreaded place in the entire city. A place of terror, horrific torture, and bestial murders. It's where my oldest brother and greatest idol Yannick was taken to when he fell into the hands of the Gestapo in 1943. He was just 21, Sebastian's age, an underground army officer, and like Sebastian, a student, hoping to get his medical degree at a secret university. His life was cut short, and he died a hero, never betraying anyone despite all the agony that must have been thrown at him. Incredible as it may seem, the tenement house, which was once a field hospital where Olenka and I lay wounded, still stands.
Again, it was not tenement house, but a school. But that's another small mistake.
This is where, while recuperating from our wounds, the end of the uprising found us. I've told my grandkids that I'll gladly be their guide, but on one condition, that they read this translated version of my memoirs. After all, I wrote it for them. Once they've read it, they'll be better prepared to be guided to get into this historical experience and to treasure the memories I'm about to share. What happened to the other prologue?
That was not prologue. That's what he
Uh-huh.
you see, that's what I wrote first. When we were discussing here with Piotr and so on, and Piotr, I think Piotr was the one who was saying, well,
yes,
there have to be something interesting for who is interested in the Meissner's family of so and so. So I wrote this first, and then I saw that is not how it should be. It should be what is the next.
Mm-hmm.
What is he puts like a prologue. But you are now a reader, and you read this, and you read that, and then you
Here's what
should that be included?
Here's what I think. There's a chance it would be impactful. The way it's written right now, I don't like it. It's I don't like the writing style. There's a lot, especially in the first half. It gets better in the second half. So we would have to do a lot of work on it, and then it could be good. Should it be included? The other thing I'm noticing right away before I forget, the prologue should be outside of chapter 1.
No, that should be. Not, it is it. Well,
He says chapter
that's
1.
Okay, that's okay.
That's a small thing.
That's okay.
Small thing.
Yes, that's okay. But that's prologue, and then it goes.
Yeah. You were going to say.
When he have sent all that to the historical publication which Kahn have suggested.
Mm-hmm.
And when he sent that, I said, that should not be, that should be just a prologue send. But he said, well, Kahn was very attracted by that prefix. He said that was very interesting, very interesting. And your father, I said, well, we will see. So he is sending that right now, how he is planning to pursue the publication with this too. And I just wonder whether we should leave that that prefix or whatever it's called, or just go right to the prologue in the book. Does it add to the? Does it make the reader interested?
Well, it could. It really could. I can see why Kahn would be interested in that. I can see why a lot of people with children, people with grandchildren would be more interested by this. The one thing that would have to happen is we would have to work on it quite a bit. And then we'll see. Might be a big waste. We might want to get rid of it. I think it's worth trying to make it make it very good, or make it even just it might not take that much work. It's mostly just making a few things at the beginning shorter, less fancy words for certain things. We can look at that tomorrow. But I think we should attempt to make it nice.
You think that it should stay in the book?
I'm not sure if it should stay. I think we should try to make the best case for it that we can. You understand? Right now, if it was like this, take it out.
Well, let's say that we can improve it. We can write it better. There are mistakes that.
If we can improve it,
it's a big mistake.
Yes.
Anybody who knows it will say, well.
Of course. Those are big mistakes. I mean more for the style. Mistakes in the style is what I am talking about. If we can make the style a little more, just a little more enthralling somehow, I think it will be worth looking at, taking seriously. Even then, I'm still a bit hesitant. One thing I like about this is okay, I'll tell you a few things I like about this part. I like when you're describing where you are going to take us. I like the way you say that. I'll take them to this. It was this. This happened to my family, to my brother there. And my brother was his age. I like the thoughts that are going through your head. I think people will find this good. I find it good. I like the ending. You could even say Sienna and Isabella are finishing the book right now as we speak on the plane. It would be funny. It would be good to say something like that.
But I think that it's good. It's interesting. But is that something which you think should be in the book?
What do you think?
Well, I thought no.
Right.
Now when I read it, I said, well, it maybe it is interesting. It would be interesting to people. Maybe it would make them interested in the book, because that's the point.
Yes.
That is the point. It's interesting, or it's nice for you, for Isabella, for me, for those who went there, but somebody who didn't go.
Yes.
Is it interesting?
I think so, because it's not about going to Poland. It's about this is still this is an ongoing story. And the story, all these stories of the past, they
maybe it is, but maybe it is interesting because
they're still alive.
That's really what the book will be is on.
Yeah.
So the person reads that prefix, then reads the prologue, and say, "Well, my goodness, that's something interesting. Let me buy that book.
Yeah.
Let me read it."
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'll send you this, and I would like you to. That's what this would be. I'm assuming that it will go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should assume.
I want the comments of you, Ludwig, Piotr. I don't know whether Gabo will want to comment on it, but
Piotr, I'm pretty sure, will not like it.
well,
Ludwig, I'm not sure.
I want to hear his.
I'm not sure if I like it yet. I think to know if I really like it, or if we need to give it the best chance. So yes, please send me so that I will try to do some very quick changes to make it a lot smoother, or
Yeah.
I don't know, a lot something, and see if it's easy to make the changes, or if we would have to change even more. I will make some changes, and then we'll read it again, see what it is.
Yes, I think that would be.
I think it would be interesting. I'm leaning more to the side that it would be interesting. I don't think it will be a huge loss.
A huge what?
A huge loss to the story or anything. This is not as important as the prologue. That's for sure. But it could be a small and important gain. And so let's see if it can be. Okay.
Well, I'm still not
Me neither.
not quite sure whether that should be, but he sent it now. I told your father that we will not use it, but he still put it in.
Mm-hmm.
He said that's what he proposed.
Mm-hmm.
And when I read it, and you read it now, and I think it maybe it should be left here. It should be in. Of course, with the few corrections as far as the actual errors and well, style and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Finished.
Okay, thank you, Sebastian. Are you going to bed early or what? What time?
Probably early. Yes,
Earlier than
early in the morning.
today is what? Thursday, yes?
Thursday. Wow.
But tomorrow is Friday, my goodness.
My God.
Oh my goodness.
What a mess.
That time is really flying.
It's too much.
Well, I hope that we will find the publisher and that book will be published. You know what? I talked with that lady in the Museum of Uprising, Warsaw Uprising. You don't know whether you remember the Agnieszka.
Yeah, I remember her.
About the English edition, and she said that she told me you should combine first and second book, and you use it as a one or issue it, publish it as a one book. Which said that right now there's a lot of people emigrating from different countries to different places and so on. And my other book is on immigrants. It's about and she said that probably would be interesting. The book like that would be interesting to many people who start their life, who in the different places in different parts of the world and so on. Taking you as an example from the darkness of the war, you got to the
You got out.
and I think she's right. The only thing that I'm not going to rewrite the book in my present life. Maybe in the next life if I'm born again.
I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there. Maybe I will be working on it, and you will show up and you will help me correct it.
I'm sure the second book would be interesting to many people.
Yeah.
This is what Bartoszewski said when that book was published. He was at the promotion evening and had a speech and so on. And then he told me, you should work on this, your second book, because there is not many books written on that subject. He said, well, he told me, I know many books, or knows some books written by some past ministers, presidents, generals, and so on. But the book of the young boy going through what you went through, there are not many books like that. And he was right. That's why I decided to write the second book. and then he said, well, I'll write the introduction to your second book also. So I wrote it, and he passed away in the meantime. But I issued the book anyhow.
Hey, after that, you better.
Okay, I think yeah, I'm going to bed.
Me too. Save.
Send yourself this few pages would be just. You can send it as an attachment.
But then that's all the pages. Oh, this is shorter document, 15.
Yeah, that's.
It's okay. I will copy
I
it.
just if you took this, just the pages. It's not a whole book.
It will be very easy for me to copy it onto a document.
That's
Okay. Shut down?
Yeah.
Very
okay. I have to get my water and I'm going to bed. So I have one last straw or whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm. One.
To do
I think you have two.
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 Oh, I think it is only one.
You'll find out tomorrow.